Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide here. We are back again. And guess what, amigos? We have a special guest today. His name is Edie, and oh my gosh, he's an Arsenal fan. Yet
Right.
another Arsenal fan in the show, ladies and gentlemen. But glad to have him here, Edie. How are you doing
Thank
today,
you.
sir?
Thank you. I am doing great. Doing great. Thanks for having me, guys.
That's awesome. And of course, we have our resident amigos. Yet another Arsenal fan. Ayo, yeah. How are you?
It's good. I know we've been postponing a lot of votes as to which team is the best. So I think today's a good day to
Oh my
cast that
god.
vote. In the
Uh,
house, if you think Arsenal is the best team, I think you got to raise your hand up. Idi,
Absolutely.
are you gonna support the second one? So three. I think
Absolutely.
midday. You have no choice now. You have to accept that Arsenal is the best team. You're outnumbered.
never, never. And of course, our resident Liverpool fan, Sam. How are you doing today, sir?
Do we have a Liverpool fan in here?
You're not gonna just go down so
Oh
quickly.
no, you got it. Wow.
No, I'm always gonna walk along. We know Liverpool for sure. But if you ask me, was I gonna vote for Arsenal as the best team right now? I would vote for y'all for sure. You know,
Nah, I won't. I'm sorry. I don't care.
we know. That's why you're not in Champions League, bro.
Oh, there it is. There it is. You may not make Champions League next season. We may. I'm just
Ooh.
saying. Just saying.
Ooh. Oh man.
The
You never
banter
know.
started. Banter started, amigos. But of course, like, share, subscribe, amigos. We always love to have our guests on the show as well. Just to change things up a little bit, get a different perspective, get some thoughts from just another fan. And that's what we have in Edie. Edie is an Arsenal fan, and like he says, it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan, right, Edie?
And so, like I said earlier, I didn't say this in the recording. Yeah, it's a good time to be an Arsenal fan. And like I said, told you guys earlier before we started recording. See this right here? This is what Arsenal has done to me. But I'm glad. I'm glad things are turning around. Maybe I might grow here next year. You never know what happens in the off season. So you never
We hope so.
know.
Oh, that's awesome. So, Edie,
Yeah.
again, welcome to the show. Welcome to the Afigo Amigo show. You're always welcome to, of course, come back. We'd love to have you more. Again, we like to talk about our different teams, how they're doing, what they're doing well, what they're not doing well. And of course, we like to come up with solutions to help our different clubs as well. No matter how much we banter ourselves, Edie, we also try to have those very transparent conversations about our club and what we could do better with them, with the amigos, of course. So, Edie, we like to ask you just some questions. Let the amigos hear your thoughts about what you think about Arsenal this season, Arsenal in the past, where we are going. We have some questions around, players, tactics, philosophy from an Arteta standpoint. Again, just want to just get your perspective, especially being an Arsenal fan for how long have you been an Arsenal fan?
Well, that's a good question. I've been an Arsenal fan since 2010. That's when
Wow.
I really got, yeah. And he's a Nigerian that actually put me on the Arsenal. The way he described Arsenal, I thought I was reading some. He was describing like as if he was Shakespeare writing a poem, writing the stories. I was like, what? The way he described Arsenal, I mean, it was so very, very distinct. I was like, I need to check this out. And that was when obviously Wenger was the coach, and ever since then, I just bought into it, and I've been a fan since then.
Oh wow. What was your favorite game till date that you've watched that from a national standpoint, national fan standpoint?
Ooh, man, Arsenal, man, is like they are very high, big highs, and then they're very low, 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 low. Have this. It's like a stock market, very high, and you do very poorly. But man, to answer that, that's a good question though, because there have been so many memorable games. I can't even rate them. But I'll tell you one thing, one game I actually found that stuck to me. I'll say was the win against Barcelona in the Champions League. Remember that one where we had 2-1?
Oh.
Xavi scores the winner.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I just got tired of them beating us every time. They just keep destroying us. I'm like, we need to do something to these guys. So
is
having that
it
win was like, God, finally, you know.
isn't that the one where they came back and beat us 4-0?
Right in the return leg. But
Yeah,
yes, they did.
that
Yeah,
that
yeah.
Messi
Oh,
scored four
thanks
goals.
for reminding me. But yes, they sure did. But
Typical
that is
Arsenal.
true. Yeah,
Typical
they
I
typical
Arsenal.
don't
exactly.
remember. I was
Typical
like,
Arsenal. Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Just to add, I don't know what to talk about. Just to add to that, I just hope we meet them this year in the Champions League. That way we can really, because I think we will be ready for them this year. So
Interesting you say that, Ed. I think the way the bracket is in the Champions League right now, you might be needing them.
it might be possible. Yes,
If not
it's possible.
quarterfinals, semifinals, it'll
Hmm.
be interesting to see them. But I'm not as much as I can banter Arsenal and never support them. As a coach, I have to admire what they do on the field. And not only have they shown the maturity as a team to win games, they also have the nous on how to score and how to defend, right? And I have to say I've been impressed. I have been impressed with Arsenal, just
Right.
with their maturity and just the ability to grind out games. And no matter who they play, there's this aura or confidence about them to to win the game really. And I don't know, I don't know, Edie, how do you feel about just the mentality of the team since last season where they
Mhm.
pushed for the title but then fell short, and then this season where, dare I say it, they have one hand already on the trophy?
Right. That's a good question. I think, eventually the sun will always shine, as they always say, the sun will eventually shine on you as long as you put in the work. So, our past previous failures, I have to say failures, and we've seen growth over the years. We've seen growth. Wenger left, and then Ateta came in, adopted his style, and we watched the whole process take place, and we just started to see progress as the years started to, accumulate. And I think we've reached a point where we've learned a lot. Our leadership has learned a lot. The fans have contributed to the growth of this team. And they actually finally went and bought players, quality players on the bench. Because I've been screaming for that a long time ago. And they finally did that. So the contribution of all that has has actually shined a light on our players, and our coach has actually learned a lot. So, like I said, the contribution of all that has caused us to be where we are today. So.
Right, right. And do you feel like the maturity that they're showing now, do you think it's a coaching thing for Mateta, or do you think it's just the players that have matured, or do you think it's a combination of both?
Oh, it's always definitely a combination of both because it's a team thing. It's a team sport. So both parties play a big role in both. But one thing I'll say, one big common denominator is the inclusion of the squad players. And it's not just in the past we used to we buy squad players, but they're not to say they're bad, not to say that they're poor players. They don't have that much quality as starters. That way, it's a like for like. When you substitute Odegaard, you can bring in Eze. When you take off somebody like Saka, you can bring in Noni Madueke. There's kind of like, like for like quality. Maybe slight drop in quality, but at least close to what the starters have. And I think that's played a big role, a big difference in our success. And it's going to keep on playing a big role as long as we keep adopting it. Like City is a prime example of doing that, or top teams, period. You know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think either in our past podcast, I mentioned the same thing about. It seems to me that everyone is kind of using the blueprint of Arsenal buying quality squad players, right? To be able to play all of these competitions, just to be able to cover situations of injury. But at the same time, it looks like other clubs are now catching on. You can see the likes of Man City buying extra players that you wonder, do they really need? But it's like you're having two players in each position, which I personally like, really,
Right.
um, as a preference. And then you see the likes of Chelsea. Yes, they're doing it from a young perspective, right? Which
Mhm.
that will just take time, but
Right.
they are doing that. They are buying
Right.
those surplus players to
Mhm.
improve their squad.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. And so moving on to just the mentality, what two players do you feel like Arsenal has added this season that has made the difference with this team? Because I feel like you may have a lot, but
Mhm.
either being an Arsenal fan, you would know more of which player that's like, you know what, if this player wasn't here, we wouldn't be where we are today.
Right. Oh, that's it's ironic that we as Nigerians have this podcast, and the players I'm going to talk about are Nigerian English players. You already know what I'm talking about, right? Those two players,
Uh,
is Noni Madueke and Izzy. I think those two players have made a big role, big impact on that team. You know, and today is a prime example. You got the game, North London derby against Tottenham. What Eze did there, the game against Bayern Leverkusen in the first leg. See what Nani did there, and there are previous other games I can't remember in specific, but those two players have been very impactful. I can say, but don't get it twisted. Now there are other players as well too. Like Hincapié has played a big role as well too. Even Mosquera has played a big role as well too. So those guys have played, but the biggest ones like that really stand out to me, and what you call it, Eze and Nani. You know,
I agree. I
yeah.
agree. I agree. And I know you also have some questions for Ide as well too that I would love you to bring up. But there was another one that I had for you before that, Ayo. So for Ide, again, this season, right? We have about what 7 games, 8 games left in the season.
Left, right.
You see Man City dropping points last week. We know Arsenal is going to play Man City at some point, probably in the next 2 games or so.
Right,
Basically, a title decider, right?
right.
We know now Man City's out of the Champions League, so we are going to meet them in the League Cup,
Carabao, yeah.
and then there's going to be another game in the Premier League.
Hmm.
How important are those 2 games against Man City that defines your season, or is it going to be a situation where the 2 Man City games are a one-off, and you just want to focus on every other game that you're going to play away from them? What are your thoughts on those?
Mm. That's a good question though, because after that loss today, the elimination from the Champions League, it gives them more, recovery time, rest and recovery time, and that's an advantage on them. And then they're like wounded animals right now, so they're hungry. So that's a really good question. I want to say based on Arsenal's form, the way we are playing,
Hmm.
there's this hunger. You can sense it is beginning to, the
It's
fans are
palpable.
beginning to feel it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's rising, and you can feel it. Like there's no fear that we have what it takes to get to cross that line. So I honestly don't think Man City will be a big issue. Honestly, they would
Wow.
challenge us. I really
Wow.
don't think they'll be that much of a problem because we have proven that we can actually challenge, go toe to toe with them. Think about it. The last game we played against Man City, they were playing defensive. I've never seen Guardiola play so defensive in my life. You guys notice that? Did you guys see that 1-1 game we played? It's like, what is this guy doing? Yeah, I was like, this is not something is off here. Why is he so defensive? So that's the impact we've had. So and the way we are playing is catching form. The team are beginning to we are showing that we can play different styles against you. We can be very boring but defensive. We can be attacking if we want to be. We can mix it up. How do you want it? We give it to you. So I'm confident, but also, obviously I'm keeping one eye open and for Man City, but I don't think they should be that much of a problem for us anymore.
No, I love that answer. And then my last question for you, either before Ayo moves on with his, either a lot of people just keep telling me Arsenal's corner kicks, Arsenal wins with corner kicks, Arsenal wins with corner kicks. As a coach, I don't buy into that school of thought because
Right,
one, you have to use set pieces to score goals. You also
right,
have to be able to score goals against the run of play. You have to be
absolutely.
smart to use different ways to win a game, right?
Right.
How much how much emphasis is Arsenal using set pieces to the point that do can we classify Arsenal as a team that only uses set pieces to win titles, or is there truly a way, a style of play that Arsenal has? And if there is, what is that style of play?
Ooh, I will start with style of play. Honestly speaking, I have not identified any kind of style of play Arsenal has right now. You
Mm,
see, you can see the contrast between Wenger and Arteta. You can tell Wenger's style. You know what you're gonna get with Wenger. But Arteta is like he's always changing. He's like he adapts to what's going on around him. So you don't have one specific style of play, which I understand his point of view, which is a wise thing to do, because you got to adapt. It's an English league. Every team catches up to you. As soon as you change something, they catch up. So Arteta is like you got to think when you play against him. So we don't have to me, I don't think we have a style of play yet. Maybe next season we might see it, but right now I haven't seen one because we are so, yeah, we so, yeah. And the other thing too is the set piece play. I mean, it's part of the game, like you said. He's simply part of the game. There's nothing you can do about it. I think one reason why we are taking advantage of set pieces is I remember 2, 3 seasons ago where we were dominating. I mean, we were on the counter attack. It was like the old Arsenal all over again. When Arteta first took over their second, third season, and he was just attacking, scoring. It was just nice to watch. And then a few seasons later, he changed his whole style up. And I think he did that because other teams have adapted to our style of play. I don't know if you
right.
remember last season, it was so hard to score. Like it was hard to watch Arsenal trying to figure out how to score. Because teams are low blocking us. You got soccer, everybody, you got 3 players covering soccer. It's like, and fans are complaining, soccer is running out of form. Like, what do you want the guy to do? You got 3 players on him. What do you want him to do? Odegaard didn't have that much room anymore to be flashy and be more creative because they've adapted to our style. So what does Ateta do? Like I said, he's always changing. He realized, okay, what's another way for us to score goals? So set pieces will not be a bad option. And he's taking advantage of it. And he brought big players. That's one thing Arsenal never had before. Tall players, big players. And we are taking advantage of everything we can take care of. It's like he's just adapting. That's all it is. So they can hate all they want to. If it was them, they won't complain either. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly. So that,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah,
No, those are great questions. This is why I get excited whenever we have guests because we just have a different perspectives,
different
amigos.
perspective. Exactly.
And
Yeah.
to hear either just to hear your passion and the way you answer some of those questions, you can tell like you're a genuine Arsenal fan. So I'm a little jealous that y'all are doing well, but I'll let I ask you very interesting questions as well. So Aya, go for it.
Okay.
I was gonna say, isn't Bruno Fernandez? Everybody's talking about him as a player of the season. How many of his assists were corner kicks?
Ooh, well,
Seven
that's
of
a good
them now.
question, man.
It's a lot.
Yeah, I can
Wow.
remember seven, but I think it's more than that.
Yeah, so I
Hmm.
hear some it was nine. Some people are saying 11. I'm not keeping track, but a lot of his what's it called? His assists or corner kicks. Does that make
On
it
corner
invalid?
kick.
No, not at all.
Mm,
Not,
Not at all. See, anything that's done during regulation time that is acceptable by the referee for me is
mm,
acceptable. You compete how you compete based on the
right.
situation. But yeah, it's really good to have another Arsenal fan. It's really good to have someone here to you know at least just be along for the ride and see what is looking to be a great
Absolutely.
season. It's been a season of up and downs. Can you like remember a specific moment where you felt like this is our season? Like we may actually win this thing? Like when that confidence started to grow? Because it's been what
Man,
more than 20 years, and if
right,
Arsenal fans were talking about winning, they had to do it in hushed tones. And I'm starting to
right.
hear people be a little bit more bold and beat their chest about it. Still with
Right.
7 games
Hmm.
to go. So, is there a moment that made you feel confident to be like, "This is our year"? Mhm.
You know what? That's a really good question, and it's not. It's just recent that I really figured out. You know what? I think this is our year, and just as recent as the Everton game. I kid you not. Is the Everton game really stamped that point where Arsenal have turned the corner. I I don't know if you guys saw the Everton game, right? So like
I did.
previous seasons, yeah, previous seasons is where we go to games like this during this time of the season and drop
Yep.
points, and that is like constant. Almost every season, you see this happening, and the manner in which we came back, and not conceding a goal, that was like okay. When it's really tough, when the going get tough, we keep our head up high and we go for it. And you could see the guys were fighting. They were fighting for it. Because the previous games, we kind of like it was tough watching Arsenal play. It's like, man, we are struggling. I don't know how we're going to sustain this kind of play for the rest of the season. And that Everton game, that's a tough game. I don't care if he was at home. That was still a very tough game to win. And we won that game, and then we moved over to Bayern Leverkusen. And I don't know if you guys saw the way we attacked that team. We were 1-1 on aggregates, and the way we attacked, we were on the front foot, and that tells me that we are. So like it's like somebody driving a stick shift, and you got those different gears. And Arsenal has been sitting on like maybe the second or third gear, and today we just went to the fourth. It's like, look, man, we could really do this if we want to, and we're not even in the fifth yet because our team, we got new players and everybody's not gelling yet. So I think that game, Everton is the one that actually said, they said to me like, you know what, yeah, we are going to win this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's really good. I would agree with you. Actually, there was just something about that second goal from Max Dowman
Oh
that
man,
just gave a sense that yeah, something is happening here
something
because
is happening.
that was special. That was special to
It
watch.
was.
I don't think I've celebrated a goal in a long time more. Even those free kicks by Declan Rice, I don't think that against Real Madrid last season, like I don't think I've celebrated a goal like Max Zalman. Uh,
Oh wow.
is incredible. But yeah, I agree with you. That's the point where I was like, okay, this does feel much more final, at least in relation to Man City's
Right.
going over
Draw. Yeah, exactly.
and
West
drawing.
Ham.
Yeah,
Yeah. Hmm.
it's a good thing. If I was going to go now, it's like being an Arsenal fan, starting with Arsene Wenger, going through the short and tumultuous reign of Unai Emery, and landing with Arteta. Um, what do you think is a key difference between how Arteta has built this team and how he approaches a game, and how does that compare with Arsene Wenger? Because like you say, your friends like wax lyrical about the style of play. With Arsene Wenger, it was more of an art than, and now we have Arteta, who's so pragmatic. Like, what do you think is that contrast? What's that thing with Arteta that differs from Arsenal's approach? And do you think that's a good thing? Does it make you love Arsenal more, or do you wish for Arsenal as it used to be? Is it worth? We might win, but all the changes we've made to win, do you feel like it's worth it as an Arsenal fan?
Man.
Yeah.
Y'all asking some real good questions, man. I gotta give you guys that. It's some good questions. Um, that's a really good question. I actually had to sit down and think about the difference between the two coaches. I think with Wenger, I'll start with Wenger. Wenger had his style, like you said. He was flashy. He was entertaining, and trust me, I enjoyed every second of it when it was happening. Despite the losing part at the tail end of his career as our coach. But the thing is, with Ateta is more. He adapts to what's going on in front of him. He's not he's not so fixated on one style of play because if you get fixed on one style, the game is evolving, and if you don't adapt, you get left behind. And I think that's what happened to Wenger. You might disagree with me or debate that, but I think that's what happened to Wenger. Wenger stuck to one style of play, and everybody kept evolving and changing styles and different ways of doing things. And I think Ateta has adopted that. He said, you know what, I'm not going to stick to one style because when you stick to one style, especially in the EPL, where everybody's catching up to what you're doing, you can play this one style 2 weeks later. Everybody they know what you're going to do. So I think that Ateta is more he adapts to what's in front of him and he changes as he goes, and that's what is making him so relevant. If he keeps on that style, it's going to help him. He's gonna build a longevity in his way of leadership. I would say that. So I think that's the difference between the two coaches. I enjoy both styles, but I like somebody that adapts more because that's my way of thinking.
Adaptability.
Yeah,
No, that
adaptability.
makes
That's
sense.
yeah,
There was a lot of criticism for Arsene Wenger for being too stubborn
yes,
for not being flexible in his philosophy.
exactly. Hmm.
Games that were designed or required a more pragmatic approach, he'd go guns blazing.
Hmm.
If there's any game that's etched negatively in Arsene Wenger's uh,
And
tenure was against Man United, where we played beautifully, all the beautiful football, and lost that game 8-2. And the
oh
question I
God, don't
ask
remind me
is,
about that, man. Oh my
if
God. Oh Jesus. Ooh.
if,
Boy, that game. Oh
if all
man.
your
Yeah.
decisions got you to this point, why do it?
Hmm.
I don't want to watch Arsenal, have rondos and really good passes and some dribbling to get battered in that, what's it called? In that manner anymore. So I do totally agree with
Hmm.
you. So now we're in this Arteta age. We remember when he got into the team, how low we were. What do you think were the key things he did? Do you think there were any decisions that he made that gave life to the project or got us right on track? Because, Arteta coached this team from a mediocre
Right.
position to this kind of dominant position.
Exactly.
Like, what do you think were the
Yeah.
key things that he implemented to get us to this point? Yeah. Mhm.
Ooh. Well, that is a good one, man. I think the first thing that see it always for some interesting reason I always go back to Wenger and what he did versus what Arteta did because it was like night and day. You know what Arteta did was we started investing in not just we started investing in key and more. I'll say more. I say better players. That's the best way. We just started investing more better players. That was the key thing. Well, I think Wenger would have stayed longer if he did that. But like you said, he used the word stubborn. That really described him a lot. He has the skills. He can win something if he bought the right players. But he didn't do it. And Arteta came in. I think he saw that already. It's like, you know what? I can't win with this kind of players. Let's start investing. In players, top notch players. And then you bring people like Aubameyang. Wasn't doing during his tenure. Did we have Sanchez or was Sanchez doing his tenure or not? Although
Sanchez
he came
left
before he
before
came there.
Unai Emery, I
Before.
think. Yeah,
Okay, okay, okay. Got
yeah,
you, got you.
yeah. If you're
Okay.
trying to remember who we had, our starting defender was Kolasinac. So remember, Socrates was starting in
Oh
defense.
yeah, I remember that.
Mustafi,
I remember Mustafi. Yeah.
Luis, the Chelsea
Yeah,
defender.
exactly. Those are the players we had. Like, think about not to say they're bad players. He's just like, come on, man, we're not going to win anything with those players. And I think Ateta saw that. Even Ray Charles could see that as blind. Well, he saw resting him, but Ray Charles could see that. Everybody could see that. And we're like, buddy, what don't you see? It's like, come on, man, we can't win with these guys. And Arteta saw that though, and that's why I don't know if you noticed the next season. That's when we started. I think it was the first two seasons we were like at eight. I think we settled like eighth position, and then that's
Yes.
when we started investing in better players, and you could see the rise. Things started to change, and I think that's basically what it boils down to. It's the quality of players that it all boils down to, with his adaptability style. That combination of those two is what changed things. Yeah.
Okay. On a note for the future, I have one more question for you, Ilya, and it's more of a fun one.
Hmm.
People have been comparing Diamond's goal to some of the breakout periods for players like Wayne Rooney in the Premier League, Messi in La Liga. How
Oh, come
high?
on, come
How
on, come
high
on, come
do you
on.
think
Why? Come
Diamond's?
on.
It's a real question.
Who's
I mean, I'm
making the
just, I'm just,
comparison?
I'm just reporting what I hear. I don't. I'm a objective,
Oh
unbiased
my God.
reporter.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure. Red,
I'm
red
just putting
tinted
my
glasses
finger
on.
out, just reporting what's on the streets, what the streets are saying. So they're saying, like,
So
this might be the greatest player ever in the history of players. This is a player that's going to redefine. the sport of soccer.
Who is this? Down? Is it Down you asking
Max
about?
Hellman, yeah, yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
Okay.
in all
Oh
honesty,
man.
like from watching him, how high do you think his ceiling is? As if he's
Oh
doing this
man.
as a 16-year-old, yeah. Mm.
Hey, with that kid, the sky's the limit for him. The sky's the limit. The thing is, the media need to let the kid just grow. Just let him be. Just let him be. Let him be Max Diamond, play his style. Stop comparing him to anybody else. And time will tell where he goes. But so far, what I've seen from him, especially in the FA Cup game, there was this one play in the middle. I don't know if you guys remember this one play where he dribbled through I think it was 3 or 4 defenders and was able to take a shot. And I'm like, man, this guy is 16 doing this against seasoned Premier League, well, players like that of that caliber. It's like, man, the future is bright, and I don't know how far it will go. I won't be as quick to say, what he's gonna be. He's comparing to Messi or Rooney. At least not yet. Let's give him another season, and then we could start, see how far he can go. But right now, I won't compare him to those guys yet. But there's potential to get there and surpass him. You know, yeah.
That's good. I just wanted to hear your thoughts and wind me day
Right.
up a bit.
Oh my
On-
Yeah, I hear.
yeah. Mm.
goodness. Calm down. He just got one goal. Just
But
calm.
I hear. But I got a question. How about you guys? What do you guys think about Diamond in your
I,
comparisons? What do you think?
Too early to
I
tell.
I'll let you go first. 'Cause,
Hmm.
It's too early for me to make any comparison. Can you guys hear me?
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I think as a Liverpool fan, we've seen too many of those. I think it was 2 seasons ago, one kid like that came in, scored like back to back, and he had to go to school on Monday, and the whole school was celebrating him. And British media was like, "Yeah, there's the guy." But now I don't even know his name anymore. So usually when players like that show up, just give them time. Let them, don't blow them up too much because that's gonna get in their head and they don't have game time. You don't see development in other areas as a coach. You have to drop them. So I think it's too early for us to be making noise about him.
Right. Yeah.
I think for me, Max Dowman, I've watched him. I've seen a couple of his games at the youth level, and I've seen his game when he played for Arsenal's first team. And there is something special about him. There's something about him. He reminds me of a Jack Wilshere skill with a combination of a shaving speed and low center of gravity, and also aggressive, a little bit of an aggressive Declan Rice in him as well. And I mean, the way he even dribbled the Everton player, he was like he wasn't even there. And I think at that age, that's impressive. That is very impressive. However, Ayo, don't listen to the streets. I mean, why are we comparing it to Wayne Rooney? Let's calm down. Let's calm down. But I honestly feel like if he continues how he's going, I'll be surprised to see him in an England jersey at some point. It will be like a Wilcock and Walcott situation where he starts at a young age and he plays for England. But again, to your point, Edie, the media has to not blow him up so much because
Right.
you don't want it to get into his head. And as Sam said too, you don't want that to get into his head and then he loses his focus. He's still 16, still very
Right.
young.
That's facts. Hmm.
I think he's a phenomenal talent. I think without injuries, he keeps his head straight. I think he's going to light the world on fire. I know this because, I mean, we already were talking about him 2, 3 seasons ago, and when he was 14, and he was already playing for the under 18s. Yeah, he started training with the senior team by the time he turned 15. That's
Wow.
the understanding of like who he is. Arteta was already talking about him in interviews last season. Like we never did that for Saka. We never did that for Emil Smith Rowe. We never did that for even Waneri or for Miles Lewis Skelly. That tells you the confidence in the team around. Anybody that's watched his game, they tell you that's the best thing we've ever delivered uh, in a long time, talent wise. And for me, what cements it for me is the ease. So I would liken how I'm playing when I look at other people in the league. I look at Lamine Yamal. At Lamine Yamal, even at his age, there is absolutely nothing he's doing that seems like he's pushing himself to his limits. There is no run, there's no take on that's like, oh, I have to overthink this. Everything he
Oh,
Mhm.
we lost Tayo. Huh.
It's like we lost Dyer there.
Yeah. I've got some question, but since we're talking about young players, the reason why I would still think it's hard, it's too early to be talking about players like that is it really depends on who is advocating for you. If you have a coach that is advocating for you, yes, your name will be out there. And Arsenal's got a lot of people in the last. Welcome back, Ayo. In the last two seasons, I think it was last season. Last season we were hearing about Ranieri. Now it's this kid. So to me, I do think it's early. The talent is there, but let everything else fall into place. Ayo, go back to your Lamine Yamal.
oh,
Right.
it's just a fact with Lamine Yamal, he's playing within himself. He's not extending himself. He's not stressing himself. He's not you don't think like he's putting too much load whenever he's trying to dribble,
Right.
whenever he's moving past
That's a
players.
good point.
At no
Yeah.
point do you look at what's it called Lamine Yamal and think like that guy's doing too much to try and like impress. And that's the way whenever I watch Max Damon beat a player, that is the same ease that I see. Whenever the counter attack, the decision to nod it past Milenko, same
Right.
Milenko that gave Saka a torrid time.
Hmm.
Every time that we've played Everton, he has locked up Saka a lot more times,
Yes.
and Max Zaman
That
sizes him up,
is true.
understands it,
Right.
knocks him out of the game
Mhm.
like that. He makes him look very ordinary. Druby Hall is coming at him. He already has a runner with Martinelli. Martinelli has made a ground. The normal thing is to pass it to Martinelli for a free goal, but he's so confident and so intimate with the ball that he just shifts the ball from his left to his right, and Drewsby just slides out of the pitch. And then he just casually just takes it. He doesn't boots it too early. He takes his good time. He just runs with it until he's good and ready, and then he passes it into the net, and he begins celebrating. That level of composure at that level for me is what I think separates the talents from those who will be great. Where like at no point do you see this as this is exceptional in his mind. And that's why I think he's gonna do so great. Obviously, like all things, I don't think he's the same as Miles. I don't think Arteta spoke about Miles the same way. Even when Neri, if anybody asks me, I told you that boy was going on loan. He's too undersized for the league. He's not big enough for the league. Diamond doesn't have that problem. He's 16 and 73 days. He's already 6 foot. Like, and he still has ways to grow. Like in terms of the physicality, sort of the ability, and in that comfort with the ball, I think we're going to see something similar to like what we saw with Kaka. Truly, like
Wow.
through the center, a player that can beat multiple players through the center, and that's I'm super confident. Obviously, like nothing is guaranteed. Do you guys remember Abu Dhabi
Oh,
for
definitely. The
Arsenal?
French
Yeah,
Yeah.
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, the French guy. Yeah.
Like if your body's not gonna let you do something, your body's not gonna let you do something. Like Wilshere is another good example where if
Of
injuries pick
course.
up, they don't manage your load when you're young. Like I think Wilshere retired by the time he was 26, right, or 27.
Right. Very young.
So
Yep.
yeah, so there are real concerns in how like we manage him and make sure that we're not loading him with minutes until he's ready, which is what Arsenal have been trying to do. Another good example is Slot with Rio.
Yeah.
the winger is
Yeah, the
understanding like,
winger.
but Rear is a little bit older. I think it's close to 18 now, isn't he?
18. Yep, that's
18,
right.
yeah. But just understand like if you have to allow their body to adapt as they grow. But if they manage that part well, I don't see why sky is not the limit. Yeah, I think in 2 3 years, I don't think anybody operating in the center for England would be better than him.
Would you play him as a 10 or as an 8?
He's a 10.
He's a 10.
He's a 10. He can also play as an 8. He can also play as an 8. Because he does do this really great thing that the best dribblers are, where they start their runs early and they build multiple people and they build momentum, and you kind of need space. And I don't think he wants to create for other people as
Yeah,
much.
he like yeah, yeah.
I think he wants to finish. So maybe that might suit an 8 aesthetic, tactically better. But I also just want him to have a free roll. And that's when you want to put someone in a 10, where you don't want to burden them too much with like tactical responsibility for defense. You just want him to express themselves, which I think he's good enough to do. So I'll back him to be a 10. Whatever it is, he's a central player. He's not a winger. Yeah.
Yes. I got a question. That's a good point. It's a really good observation, especially the composure. I noticed that about him too. Very composed. He doesn't seem like he's like I've done this before. Like this is nothing to me. I'm just enjoying myself. You know that is true. And he has that close quarter like Messi, where he controls the ball. The ball is so close to him, so it's hard to take it away from him. You know. But yeah, do you think? My question is, do you think he's still one-footed? Because it seems like the ball goes to his left side a lot. I don't know if it's something you guys observe, or something you can. He's just comfortable playing that way. He can always adjust when he wants to, or that could be a problem for him in the future when
He
he's
is
starting
far
to figure it out.
from a complete product. But what
Hmm.
I've noticed with a lot of development of young English talent is they do some of that refinement at the end of their cycle. And so they don't do a lot of shooting practice. They don't do a lot of things that are more about physicality. They work on technical stuff and how to express yourself and how to control the ball, guard it. And so
Hmm.
everything that you see about his game tracks for his age. In terms of like
Okay.
learning when to let go of the ball, shooting, all that kind of stuff, like they're gonna refine that at the end of his cycle. So you see all
Hmm.
that rawness because, like for me, for the amount of dribbling and the amount of chances he creates, he doesn't convert enough.
True that. Yeah.
Yes, so the amount of output in terms of assists and goals does not match
Hmm.
the amount of like prominent positions or good positions that he takes up as a result of his dribbling ability. And so for me, I understand like that's always a glaring thing, but that's something that they don't work on as much till the end of your cycle because those are
Yeah.
things that they find are just like it's almost like a pitcher in baseball. Like you only have so many throws in your arm before like you go down a level. You only have so many throws before you go down another level. And so things that have that kind of effect on your body, they started in the English team. They started delaying in because the FA has actually like implemented this. That's why you can see a lot of technical players coming in into into the England setup is that they're prioritizing things like, oh, how do you pass the ball? How do you control the ball? How do you use your weights to like guard the ball, dribble? Like, how comfortable are you with the ball? And things like heading, things like body contact, things like powerful shots and like really intense sprints. They try and delay that as much as possible in your development.
Oh,
Yeah. And so like,
that's
I have confidence that like for how he sets himself, for example, before he shoots, that's a finishing thing that I believe that
confused.
that he will improve. But yeah, I'm not saying like he's a finished article. Like I do see a lot of holes in his
Yeah.
game, but I always track it based on his development. Like how many players can keep the ball with that kind of security in England? Period.
Mm.
When you think about that, that's a very Spanish trait. That's something you see maybe at a Brazilian,
The
probably the next
Brazilian,
next in
yeah.
line, and he has that ability, and he has the ability to do it to adults in the center of the pitch, not in the wings, where you have space to run into, but actually in the center of the pitch. And I think that's what really what I feel will make him, or what sets him apart to other talents. But only time will tell. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think Edie, like as you said about his technical abilities, and Ayos explained over time that development just comes, especially the fact that he's so technical right now. Him using both feet, I think, will just come naturally to him. I think with as players, if you're not as technical as you should be, that's when you have to spend more time trying to use your left foot if you're right-footed, or your um, right foot if you're left-footed, right? To be able to get better, so that you can be a pedestrian and then be able to use
Yeah.
both feet.
Right.
But
Hmm.
most technical players, naturally, it's easy for them to adapt to both feet. It
Hmm.
really is. And so with Max Dowman, um, it's an interesting insight, Ayo, with what you said about England, and I can start to see what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring in more technical players into the squad long term, and I think the reason why is because they're going back to the true England style of play, which is being technical and keeping possession. That's England's way of playing. That's always been England's way of playing. And so for them to use the academy or their young players to start building that, I think, you know, I mean, didn't England won the last youth Euro Cup, correct? The one that Liverpool's Elliot did so well.
Hmm.
Elliot is another technical player, So
Hmm.
I'm not surprised that they're trying to implement that as a tactical change to their ethos, to have more technical players on the field than just players that can run every single time in a straight line.
Let's
I hear that.
let's bring things back to the adulthood and modern day. Um, I'm tired of England and the hype of their players. You mentioned Elliot, and I can tell you five, six, seven players that we've all pumped up. We've seen their talent, we've seen all of those things, but again, the media comes in early and start throwing all kind of things to these players. So let's talk about Champions League, Premier League. Our guest and even Ayo, you can jump on this. Which of these trophies would you win if you don't win, if you don't get to choose both? Which one would you want Arteta to win as a first major trophy for him?
I'll take that one. I would. That's a good question because I've thought about it too. I would love Champions League because we went there, with Henri against
Yeah,
Barcelona and we
you
didn't
never
get it.
won it.
Yeah, you almost did, but we didn't win it. And we the only one of the top teams in England that haven't won it yet. I mean, that's why we get all this banter from City and Manchester United, and I'm just tired of hearing it. We've won the Premier League before. That's nothing new. But realistically, right now, since we haven't won the Premier League in a while, I want to start with that. I want us to get that out the way. You know what I'm saying? Just get that out the way. And then we can focus next season. The next big thing will be the Champions League because it seems like we are in the conversation with other top teams in Europe to win Champions League. You know, I think it all started like last season. That's when we started really making our name in that competition. But for right now, I will say Premier League. Let's get that out the way because it's been what over 2 decades since we won it. So yeah.
Okay, good, good. What about you, Ayo?
Um, I think it'll be harder to win the Premier League as much as
Mm,
everyone thinks it's done and dusted
interesting.
than to
Okay.
win the Champions League. But I think winning the Champions League will be far more transformative. On that other side of the bracket, you see PSG, you see Bayern. I mean, and everything points to the fact that it's going to be one of them in that final. And so you can imagine it under those lights, having Bayern beating them, getting a Champions League, like that would be
Hmm.
transformative for Arsenal's profile around the world, and that would
Right.
be a platform to do great things. Um, in terms of which one would I pick out of either, I don't know. I personally don't feel either is guaranteed. We know Man City just dropped out. of the Champions League. This season has been a slog in terms of very attritional, very demanding on the players. And so the players that have less games to play automatically start having a great advantage in the Premier League. And so we have to handle a high load. We're probably going to play more than 60, 67 games this season. Man City have a lot less games to play. Now they can focus all their, what's it called, energy on the Premier League, which makes them more competitive. So we have to do everything to stay up top. We have really hard games. We have to play Newcastle, I believe, still.
Yeah, you got Man
We have to play
City.
Newcastle, I
You
believe.
got
We still have to
City.
play Man City.
That's
We
all.
have to play a few teams that are fighting for the right to stay on the Premier League gravy train. And say what you want, man, but that gravy train, if it's leaving the station, even Tottenham become world beaters, and as Liverpool can attest.
Shots fired.
As Liverpool can attest. So I personally don't think it's over at all. And in the Champions League, you see what PSG did.
Hmm.
You see what Bayern are doing. You know nothing is guaranteed in the Champions League as well.
Yeah.
Like if
Yeah.
as far as Scalia is in that mood, whether or
Ooh,
not you play well,
that boy there.
that's
They're
irrelevant.
bad. Yeah.
He'll pump 3 goals, and so it's best case scenario. We win both. We win the cup. The coming weeks, we come weekend. We win the FA Cup. We win the Emirates Cup. We win the Community Shield.
All of them.
All of the
Let's,
cups.
let's take it all,
All of
man.
them.
Take it all.
Take it.
Yep.
But
No, I think.
at this, sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, bro.
Now at this point, you just have to be along for the ride as an Arsenal fan. It's never felt this close.
Right.
It's never felt this tangible. Like if you look at our bracket in the Champions League, we play Sporting Lisbon. We may play. I think after that we might play. I
Arsenal,
really don't want to play
Newcastle.
Newcastle. I really don't want to play Newcastle home and away. So I'm hoping Barcelona beat them. We play Barcelona hopefully. That's it. Because
Come
for
on, man.
me,
You know you're gonna
Barcelona
beat
is
That's
not a
interesting,
problem.
though.
Newcastle. You
Barcelona
Yeah.
know
is
you're
not a
gonna beat
problem.
Newcastle.
Barcelona's not a problem. Atletico Madrid, we already pumped 5 goals past, 4 goals past them. I don't think they're a problem. Newcastle, home and away, I don't want to do that. I just don't want to do
Ooh.
that. I want
Did
to
you
play
see
them.
the Arsenal fan that showed up against Leverkusen, the 2-0 one, the game that was just recently played?
Oh, I
That's
watched
a
that. Yes.
lot of Arsenal fan at home.
no,
Imagine going away at Champions League, and that's the no man. You
no,
know
we're at home.
Newcastle is gonna get whooped. I'm
We're at
telling you,
home.
like if you meet
Okay.
Newcastle, yeah, I know, like that's
Yeah.
home game, and
Mhm.
if you got home and away in England, I bet there'll be a lot of Arsenal fans because that's like the gatekeeper to your next game in Champions League. Come on,
It
man,
Right.
doesn't.
you
It
want
doesn't
Yeah.
Newcastle?
also.
I
The
think I'd
less, the
rather take. I
less
rather. I think
games, the less games I can
less
play,
in England.
I can play Newcastle in a season, the better it is.
No, yeah, I
Yeah.
feel you.
If
Newcastle
I
Yeah.
have
is
to hear
easy, man.
St. James Park, I just don't want to do it. I just don't want to do it. I'd rather
That's
go to the
lovely.
Bernabeu. I'd rather go to Real Madrid. I'll go to the home of Real Madrid than go and play Newcastle at St. James. I'm telling you. I don't know. Because
Wow.
even when we beat them this season, we barely did it. Barely. There's something about Newcastle
No,
and Arsenal that is weird. But
Newcastle. No,
suffice.
no. Newcastle, Everton, and Crystal Palace, and one other team
Those are
in
some.
England. They are just daggum annoying in that league. They always find a way to give you trouble. So go ahead, bro.
Yeah.
No,
Oh,
you're
before
right.
you,
Like,
let me get my charger real quick. I can hear you. I got my headpiece on, so you guys go ahead.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so nothing is guaranteed, so you just have to wait and see. That's my thing. Yeah.
Good deal. Midday, before we pass it back to you to shut us down, I also got one more thought.
I
I
want to
will.
keep going. We can shut down. We can
Okay,
shut
yeah,
down.
okay. Hey, whatever you say.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Uh,
Go ahead.
it will be well deserved if Arsenal wins 3-4 trophies this season, no doubt. If anybody thinks it's not well deserved, I don't know. You don't love the sport. You didn't see Arsenal struggle, and find themselves into shining lights in the last 2 3 seasons. But the players are key. We've seen Arteta grown from maybe the scouting team, grown from buying players like Jorginho, Shevchenko of Man City. Um, Even the idea of bringing what's this former Liverpool guy that just found a playing time now? Uh, Sterling.
Something about oh, okay.
So there was a season where Arteta or the scouting team was going around shopping for all these guys that used to be shining players to hopefully get
Mhm.
something. And now we
You
have
remember
younger
William?
players. Of course, William of
For
Brazil.
Fulham. Ever since.
Yeah, came
Maybe
from
buy it too.
Chelsea. They brought it
Yeah.
like you bring
For
in all these
Chelsea, yeah,
old
sorry.
cargo.
Yeah.
So we seen an Arsenal team that the squad is exciting. The squad is younger, and things are lining up for them. Of course, we have Gyökeres. So my for Arsenal fan, how are you guys feeling with your squad right now? I know we asked that earlier. In particular, with players like Gyökeres that are still kind of finding their way into the team. What's your thought on Gyökeres? What's your thought on the squad?
Either
Did you want to go
I'll let
first?
you,
Yeah.
You want
you
to
go
go?
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me to go first? Okay. Um. Well, that's the thing with Gyökeres, man. I think Gyökeres, like you said, finding his feet, finding his way around the team. That's still another project. I think I'll give him another season. I think that's when we really figure out, if he's really meant, for this system. Because I think the system Arteta has is not focused on one player. It's a combination of all players. It's combined effort. That's why we have different people scoring, X amount of goals. Compared to like teams like City where you have their main striker is the one doing most of the scoring. So it's like a combined effort. Everybody got to put in the work, and then it comes from contributions come from everywhere. Um, Gyökeres, like I said, is a work in progress. That's a work in progress. That'll be next season. Team wise, I think team wise we still got I'll say maybe another season or two more seasons before we can really find that right combination where everybody's just firing on all cylinders. Because definitely we are not there yet. As Arsenal fans, we can tell like that sometimes we just like Jesus, bring this guy in. Why is this guy on the bench? Bring him in the game. Take this guy out. Bring this guy in. I think it's just we haven't figured out that combination yet. Or maybe we're missing another player. That could be another thing too we could think about. Think outside the box there. Maybe another player might do something different because Odegaard needs some milk, man. Boy needs Odegaard needs some milk because I watch Odegaard sometimes. I'm like, buddy, he needs to get stronger. I think he needs to be more stronger. Like somebody said earlier about Juan that he's not strong enough yet for this league, or he needs long time. Was he you, Ayo, that said that?
I did. I did. Yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I don't know if you feel the same way. I think Odegaard too needs some. He needs to build some muscle, man, because he's too lightweight for a position that he's playing. That's a critical position he's playing as a 10. But in summary, Odegaard. I mean, Gyökeres another season. Because Arteta, I don't think Arteta is going to change his style to his play. I don't know if you guys think the same way or see something different. I don't think he's going to change anything. He's going to do the same thing and have him figure out how to play with the team. And as team wise, we just got to gel. That's all. We just need time to play well together, and then we should be all right. I'll say next season or the third season will be like when things will really start gelling for us if we all stay together. But yeah,
I agree. The final question for the night, of course, looking ahead with all the accolades that Arsenal has an opportunity to gain. If you were to buy two players to add to this Arsenal team right now, which two players would you buy in what positions and why?
ooh,
Knowing what you know
yeah,
now of what
right, right. Good question. I'll start with that left wing. That left wing needs some. It needs a whole lot of reconstruction in that side of the field. Not to say Trossard and Martinelli are not contributing. Yes, they're playing their part, but they're not consistent. You know, somebody like the left winger, what's his name, Davaskelia, they play for PSG. somebody of that caliber will come in there and light it up. So I think a left winger, or you might, I don't know if you guys will agree with this, like Leao that played for Milan.
I thought you were going to say
Yes,
that.
yes, that's another firecracker, right? That boy will come in there and make something happen on that left wing. You know, when he comes on the field, you know what you're going to get. You
Aya
know,
doesn't think so because he's not consistent enough.
he's
Look how you
that.
said.
Yes, he's not. I agree with you, Ayo, too. I agree with you. He's not consistent, but the thing about him that he just have those moments that just can change anything. You know what I'm saying? That can make a change in the game. You know, but so I'll say those. You know, those two players, and for the left wing, and then the other player will be. I think we need a. I think we need another striker because Jesus. I think he's past his. It's time for him to move on. Honestly speaking, I think it's time for him to move on. And it's not mostly about his style of play. It's his injury record. You know, he's reached his time where he's like it's time for him to move on. So we need another striker that will compete with Gyökeres. Somebody that's more technical with the ball. I know we're talking about technicality in the game. Somebody that's more technical because Gyökeres is not as skilled on the feet with the ball. We need somebody that can do that, create space for himself. You know, a player like that plays for Atletico Madrid. What's that striker's name that used to play for Man City that went to Atletico?
Alvarez.
Oh,
Alvarez.
Alvarez.
Alvarez. A player like that is who I think we would. That's what we are missing. I'm telling you, if we get Javaskelia or Leao and then have him, the striker in that middle, oh, where it's a wrap. It's a wrap, man. I think so, man. But that's why I think the two players we need. Yeah.
That's awesome. Edie, thank you so much for your time. It's a wrap, amigos. It's been an amazing time having Edie, of course, our Arsenal fan. Edie, I mean,
Appreciate
I
it.
think I'll speak for the boys. You're welcome to come back, of course. You're welcome to come back to the show. We'd love to have you again more. If they're diehard fans of other clubs that you know of, let them reach out to us. We want to hear from other people so that we can kind of
Absolutely.
share that friendship and that platform for amigos to hear more about just fans and what they truly think about their team and not only what they love about their team but the technical side, the tactical side, the philosophy of their coach, their perspective is always appreciated and shared with the Football Amigo show. So again, Edie, what would you like to say to our amigos before we wrap up today?
Well, I just want to say once again, thank you all for having me. This was therapeutic. Let's put it like that. This
That's
is
why.
therapy right
That's
now,
why.
That's
man. I'm
it for
telling you,
me. That's
this
what we
is
That's
always
why.
definitely
That's
therapeutic.
why Man United joined.
I'm
Oh,
telling
there
you,
it
this is
is.
therapeutic.
There it
That,
is.
that's the one word I can sum up everything right now. It's like as an Arsenal fan, it's just like wow, this is and also too outside of sports, we have our own personal things we deal with in life. When you can come in and talk about something that you enjoy doing, passionate with other like-minded people, man, it does. It's like it's a relief. It's like a stress reliever, man. I got my therapy for the day, so that's great. And
Well, we
and
appreciate you.
I'm glad. Yeah, for sure. And then also, we Niger boys too. So
Of
that's not
course.
something I see around me. So that's another plus too as well. So and yeah, I just want to say thank you, man. This was a great experience, and definitely I'd like to definitely come back. God willing, come back at the end of the season, and after we
Oh my
collected
gosh, I
all the
Come back
trophies,
with a big
roll it
trophy. A
in.
trophy.
Oh
all
my
four of them.
god.
I got everything.
Exactly.
I
So
got
yeah,
everything.
Amigos, on that note,
absolutely.
we'll cut the stream now. Bye, guys. You don't want to snuff to it.
All
Take care, amigos.
right, guys.
Take care.
All right, bye.